In July 2023, Disney announced that they will no longer be selling DVDs and Blu-rays in Australia and New Zealand. And that got me thinking, are DVDs doomed? And what does it mean for physical media of Thomas and Friends? Let's get into it. If you don't know, here's a little bit about the article that was published. It will tie in to Thomas and Friends, I promise you. Sales in physical media, such as DVDs and Blu-rays, have been in decline for years now, following the rise of streaming services such as Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and Disney+. The latter of which has now said it's going to be pulling out of releasing physical DVD discs in Australia, with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 being the last one that will be physically released by Disney. Many retailers across the globe have slowly been withdrawing physical media, including video games, movies, and music from their sales, as audiences have been shifting to digital platforms. Disney's already stopped releasing physical media in Latin America and across most of Asia. And as the sales of physical discs continue to fall, it's looking likely that more countries are going to follow suit. This has understandably made many fans of movies and media in general quite upset because of the recent trends of streaming services like Disney making changes to or removing content without any notice. According to the Digital Entertainment Group, in 2022, DVD and Blu-ray sales made up $1.58 billion in US markets. But this is a decline of nearly 20% from 2021. The DEG also reported that subscriptions to services like Disney Plus had increased by 17.3% in 2022. Streaming accounted for nearly 83%, with DVDs accounting for less than 10%. So why am I talking about this on the Ginger Engine? Because this has been happening to Thomas fans for years without any major mainstream media recognising it. I was very lucky that I was able to get the remaining DVDs up to season 20 and Journey Beyond Sodor. I've not got the Big World Big Adventures movie yet, but the point is, Big World Big Adventures was released on DVD in 2018, and it's only in July of 2023 that the news about Disney pulling physical media has dropped. Thomas fans have been in the DVD wilderness 5 years longer than mainstream audiences have. Collectors of physical media such as myself long to have complete collections. That's the generation we were raised in, that's what we know. So we don't have physical copies of seasons 21 to 24. 4 seasons that don't have any physical media releases. And that irks a lot of content creators and collectors, myself included. I've said in previous videos that removing the option of choice is censorship, and I stand by that, because that's exactly what's happening. You remove the physical copies of media, and it's just streaming services. Those big streaming services can take away a film because it's no longer seen as appropriate or politically correct. That's obviously within their rights, and we don't want people being offended. But I believe you need to have the original copies of said media to show people why it's not appropriate and what you can do to change it in the future. Like how I mentioned in my video where I talked about the Railway series ever being rewritten. In the book Edward the Blue Engine, it talks about how the fathers walloped the boy that caused James to become a runaway in Old Iron. I don't believe in hitting kids, but I don't want it removed from the physical media because I want it there to show my kids when they're older that this is what people thought back then, this is what they think now, and how we've changed as a society since then. The same applies for DVDs and physical media. If you give corporations too much power, they are going to let it go to their heads. And they're going to pull things just because they can. There'll be figures and reports about why they're not being shown or how it's not making them money, but that's the point. They can pull it because they want to, denying us the choice of watching it. For example, log into a Netflix account like I did earlier on. Netflix has Kung Fu Panda 3, How to Train Your Dragon 2 at the time of this recording. They don't have any of the movies that come before or after this, so you can't watch all of the movies in their original form. You can only do that with DVD sales. Sadly, we have all played a part in the decline of DVDs, myself included. COVID didn't help either because we were all stuck indoors and we couldn't go out and buy DVDs. So what was the best option? Streaming services. Streaming services also provide a more steady income to the big wigs at Netflix and Disney. And that's what it's all about. If you're on a subscription plan for X amount of dollars or pounds a month, they know that money's coming from you. Job's a good one. I wouldn't be surprised if Mattel would take a chance on their own streaming service, so they could bundle all the content library that they have in one place, and us numbnuts would have to go and subscribe to it. If you look at it from the UK perspective, Thomas and Friends has X amount of seasons on Amazon Prime and has a certain amount of seasons on Netflix, and there's other places dotted about here and there that have the odd season. We don't have a consistent library. It requires us subscribing to 2 or 3 different streaming platforms just so we can get some semblance of the complete collection. And even then, it can be watered down. They can remove things, and I don't want to live like that. You need to feel uncomfortable about something so that you know that a change needs to be made. It's like all the people that try to rewrite history. You shouldn't, because you need to learn from it. So are DVDs doomed? Sadly, it's a high possibility. But Thomas and Friends DVDs have been doomed for years. I know this has been a bit of a random video, but I've needed a little break from all the Thomas content that I've pumped out left, right and centre. Being a content creator, this did touch a nerve with me finding this out. It's another revenue stream, no matter how small, that content creators are being denied. They make money off physical media releases, just like they do subscriptions. It may not be as much, but there's a retail store over in the UK called Tesco, and their slogan is, "Every little helps." Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep on jugging.